Did anybody try to stop him?
Can't stop him.
It sounds like somebody had to stop him. Or
I did.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at the most unsettling police interrogations in which suspects acted in a disturbing manner or made troubling confessions.
I hated for her because she was a nice person.
Jerrod Murray. For most, taking another person's life is an unimaginable act with severe consequences, so it's pretty spine-chilling when a murderer discusses it like just another mundane activity.
Okay, and what do you remember telling me?
In summation that I'm guilty, yes.
Of what?
Of murder.
Back in 2012, Jerrod Murray was a freshman at Oklahoma's East Central University. On December 5th, he fatally shot another student solely for the thrill.
I went down to his dorm room and asked if I could be given a ride to Walmart in exchange for $20 gas money. We pulled into the parking lot, then I pulled the weapon on him.
During his interrogation, Murray wastes no time in taking responsibility for his actions. This should be a good thing, but his abject lack of remorse and matter-of-fact descriptions of the violent act are deeply disturbing, to say the least.
And why did all of a sudden did you decide that you need to go to Asher?
Because I was planning to take him out into the country and kill him.
Murray states that he would like the death sentence, but in reality, he was found not guilty by reason of insanity and remanded to a mental health facility.
Why did you do it?
If I'm pressed to answer,
Richard Cottingham. Dubbed the Torso Killer, Richard Cottingham terrorized New York and New Jersey between 1967 and 1980, claiming the lives of at least 18 women. He was arrested in 1980 and sentenced to life imprisonment for multiple murders in both states.
Bringing him in and reading him his Miranda rights and using investigative techniques that people have used forever was clearly not going to work with him.
Since then, even more grisly details of his crimes have emerged. In this 2014 interrogation, Cottingham bluntly admits to committing murders in other states like Florida, Connecticut, and Pennsylvania.
Florida, Connecticut, New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey.
When questioned about his true victim count, Cottingham delivers a chilling response and callously laughs it off.
Do you have a number in your head that you think? Did you ever sit back and think about it?
It's sad to say I couldn't count that high.
He also downplays his actions, seemingly shifting the blame to his victims. Cottingham has since pleaded guilty to more murders and will spend the rest of his natural life behind bars.
It was the game. It was being able to get away with it.
Nicole P Franklin. On December 9th, 2019 in Des Moines, Iowa, a boy and a girl were struck by a car. Initially, these incidents seemed unrelated. However, they were eventually linked to one woman, Nicole P Franklin. Franklin admitted responsibility for both hit-and-run incidents. But what made her actions even more troubling was the motivation behind them.
I ran over her.
You ran over her on accident?
Speaking with two detectives, Franklin confessed to intentionally hitting the girl because she perceived her to be Mexican and believed she was taking away people's jobs.
Was having anxiety that day, just thinking that she was trying to take over homes and just.
This admission transformed the case from a simple hit-and-run into a federal hate crime.
When you went over the curb, did you accelerate? Did you step on the gas? Yeah.
Consequently, Franklin was sentenced to 25 years in Iowa for attempted murder and received a concurrent 25-year federal sentence for hate crime charges.
I really fear that if she had not been stopped at that point, that there may have been other victims.
Damen Auro. A domestic dispute between Damen Auro and his wife Crystal took a tragic turn when he fatally stabbed their young son Raven. Auro was arrested shortly after and interrogated by two detectives of the Aurora, Colorado Police Department. The first thing Auro does during the session is ask for a cigarette.
Give us, please. Give us a little time to talk to you a little bit. And we will get you a cigarette, I promise you.
When this is brushed off by one of the detectives, he withdraws and barely says anything. However, once his request for a cigarette is granted, Auro immediately opens up, admitting to resenting his wife and stabbing her in the heat of their argument. Auro would later plead guilty to first-degree murder for both deaths, earning himself a life sentence.
I don't know why. Okay.
It's okay.
Spencer Spielman.
And she started getting a really weird feeling.
On October 13, 2016, Patricia Dresser was found deceased in her Greenfield, Indiana home. The following day, Spencer Spielman, a handyman Dresser had previously hired, was arrested when he was pulled over while driving her car. At the outset of his interrogation, Spielman vehemently denies any involvement in Dresser's death.
Tell me why you think you're here.
Honestly, I have no idea.
Sensing they've hit a wall, the detectives try a different approach. They pause the interrogation and take Spielman outside for a cigarette break. Upon returning to the room, the wall apparently comes down.
I'm ready to tell y'all what happened.
Spielman confesses to struggling with Dresser and then mimes how he had taken her life.
A few minutes later, she just came up freaking the out, hitting me, and trying to scratch at me, and I just...
He was found guilty of murder and robbery and ultimately sentenced to 55 years in prison. Zachary Littleton. In October 2009, 25-year-old Samira Watkins was reported missing by her sister after visiting her boyfriend Zachary Littleton.
You know her as Sammy? Yeah. Okay. But you've had some dealings with her and you've talked to her. Yeah, she's been over to the house like maybe 4 or 5 times.
Afterwards, Littleton, a U.S. Navy officer, was questioned by the authorities and claimed he hadn't seen Watkins on the night of her disappearance.
I mean, I didn't do it. Anything, I'm not responsible for her being missing.
At some point in the interrogation, Littleton refers to Watkins in the past tense, even though her status was still unknown at the time.
I hated for her because she was a nice person.
Days later, her body washed up close to the Pensacola Naval Air Station in Florida. It was eventually revealed that Littleton, who was married to another woman, had impregnated Watkins and apparently murdered her when she refused to terminate the pregnancy. He was imprisoned for life as a result. Trang. When an infant suddenly died in Worcester, Massachusetts in 2008, his teenage mother, Trang, quickly became the prime suspect. Trang endured a disturbing 2-hour interrogation without any adult or lawyer present.
You told me what happened? His face was in the mattress? Oh, we're done here. Okay, thank you. Yeah, we're gonna go now.
Throughout the taped session, the clearly distressed teen sits opposite 2 detectives who push her to her wits' end, despite the absence of any incriminating physical evidence.
And now, Kyle's in your care, and he mysteriously dies. You're a liar. You just got the worst luck in the world.
Eventually, Trang buckles under pressure and confesses to smothering her child. That unfortunately landed her in jail for nearly 3 years.
I did not kill.
Okay, so a perfectly healthy boy just, what, held his breath?
In 2011, however, the case was dismissed after a judge determined that the cops had employed, quote, deception, trickery, and implied promises to extract the confession. Trang later sued the city of Worcester and received a $2.1 million settlement.
The only way to leave was to tell them what they want to hear. So I just told them that I did it.
Michael Hernandez. In 2004, a heinous crime unfolded at Southwood Middle School in Palmetto Bay, Florida, involving 2 teenagers. On February 3rd, Michael Hernandez fatally attacked his friend Jaime Goff with a knife he had brought onto school premises.
Why did you choose Jamie, your friend?
He was the easiest out of anybody because he would have followed me because we're such good friends.
Hernandez was taken into custody that same day, and in a recorded interrogation, he detailed the crime in a very matter-of-fact manner, expressing zero remorse or regret for it.
I said, no, he's gonna go first.
Okay, and any particular reason why?
I wanted to get Andre killed first.
As Hernandez recounts the incident, he seems to revel in the memory of it, almost as if expecting some form of commendation from the interrogator.
Do you know what you did is wrong?
Yes, I do.
Despite being a teenager at the time, Hernandez was tried as an adult and sent to prison for life, where he died in 2021. Cynthia Cabaca. An entire family was plunged into turmoil in 2014 by the shooting death of Jerrod at the hands of his mother-in-law, Cynthia Cabaca. Cabaca had lived with the family for years and cited Estaquio's alleged violent behavior as her motivation.
You'll win.
Today, we're going to ask you some questions.
On February 11th, Cabaca fired 15 shots at her son-in-law, pausing twice to reload her weapon. When questioned about the incident, Cabaca immediately expressed her disdain for Eustaquio before devolving into a fit of laughter.
So what did you think of him?
Soon after, she confessed to shooting him, and perhaps most shockingly, celebrated upon learning of his death.
Is he alive? He's not? Oh, good. Oh, thank you.
It's horrifying, bewildering, and heartbreaking all at once. At the age of 66, Cabaca was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to 50 years to life. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Michael Bever. On July 22, 2015, in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, brothers Michael and Robert Bever murdered 5 members of their family and severely injured another.
To my desk, and I had to look at something to this guy to roll up, or went up behind to grab to and slip with you.
Really? What did he use?
His large red knife.
This was to be the first step of their bizarre plot to kill at least 50 people across various locations. Fortunately, they were apprehended before executing any more violence.
And then my mom came in and she started yelling, "Call the police, get Dad." And then he came over and started attacking her.
Michael Bever, the younger brother, revealed their sinister intentions to authorities when he was questioned. He also disclosed that they had accumulated tons of weapons and ammunition through online purchases.
So was the plan to use the knives at first on the family?
Use the knives.
Because the guns weren't going to be here till later on?
Yeah, and the guns would be too loud.
Even more troubling was his mention of being inspired by other serial killers, as well as the 1999 tragedy in Columbine.
Everyone, he thinks society is pointless, and so he wanted to kill people. And also he wanted to beat the kill amount of other famous people like Columbine. And
both brothers were eventually found guilty and sentenced to life in prison. Which of these taped interrogations unnerved you the most? Let us know in the comments below.
You don't feel bad about it?
No.
Would you do it again?
Yes.